Hey everyone, welcome to this Adobe Live video social media challenge. I'm your host, Fabiola Lara. If you haven't caught any of my streams before, I'm an illustrator and content creator, and today I'm going to be showing you how to export different videos for Instagram Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts using Premiere Pro. So I know those are all vertical video platforms, but the same video needs to be exported differently for each platform in order for it to feel native and organic to the app. That way it reaches the widest audience. So that's why I'm going to be showing you 3 ways to export for each platform, or 3 ways to export but one platform. Yeah, there's 3 total exports here that I'm going to show you. So you can reach as many people as possible. So let's get into the workflow today. I created this video. It's a product review video that I had up in another video social media challenge. And this is the main edit. So I'm going to share with you kind of the standard edit that I'm like, this is good. I want to put this out on my socials, but now I'm going to have to slightly tweak it every single time so that I get the perfect export for each platform. So let's play it through one time. The Logitech MX Master 3S mouse is going to change your workflow forever. You're probably using keyboard shortcuts and those work totally fine, but being able to do everything in just the palm of your hand is so much more effective and powerful. Every single button on the Logitech mouse is customizable per individual program, including every single Adobe program. So you can customize each button to work for you and really fine-tune your own process. I have this one set up so that horizontal scrolling actually zooms in and out of my sequence, and these keys are set for alternating between the selection and eraser tool. As a bonus, this mouse connects with up to 3 devices via Bluetooth, plus the ergonomic design really keeps my hand from cramping up after those long edits. Trust me, this mouse is going to completely change your workflow and make you so much more productive. Okay, so that's the basic edit. And I'm like, I need to put this out on all the platforms. I need to get it out there so that everyone can see, the work I've been doing. Now, here's what I have. Let me just show you here. We are currently in the vertical workspace. So if you are new to Premiere Pro or you haven't used it very much, you might open it up and find yourself here in the editing workspace, or maybe on some random workspace that you last left it at when you opened it. Don't worry. If you're editing for vertical video, I highly recommend jumping over to the vertical workspace. So click on the workspaces icon on the top right and switch over to vertical. That makes a huge difference because now we can see this nice and big, which is ideal for this kind of editing. Okay, and then just to give you a rundown of what I have here in the project panel, I have a bin for my sequences. A bin, you can make new bins right here using this icon. They're basically just folders. And then I have a footage folder where I have all the footage for this exact video. And then I have audio. And then I have some CC style. So if you download the project files, which Annika shared, there's the Lime Helvetica, and I'm going to show you how to make an extra one today. Then we have graphics. These are just some of the adjustment layers that you see here. Again, if you want to see how I put this video together, there's a whole other video editing social media challenge that I went through on how to edit a product review video. And then I have extra adjustment layers which go in there, an extra folder, which has everything that you don't need to know about this extra folder. And then a motion graphics template, which happens when I do something else. So just, those are automatically created. Okay, so that's just a lay of the land here. So in my sequences, I have the final results, but I'm going to show you how I got to those final results because you want to learn. I don't just want to share with you how I do it. So in the main edit, when you're editing here and you have your sequence in a good place, you're probably going to have many versions of this, right? Because maybe you did one version with B-roll in one section instead of another section. Don't worry. Here we have the main edit. This is kind of like basically the final edit that I'm going to go with. And before you start exporting for a million different platforms, let's just duplicate this and rename it. And you're going to get a copy, right? So double click and I'm going to name it 1_. I'm going to say review because it's a product review. And I'm going to say this is for Reels. So we all know here that means Instagram Reels, but I don't want to write Instagram Reels. It makes the name way too long. Then double click it so you're actually working in that, because it's happened to me many times that I don't double click it and I end up messing up the main edit and then I can't get back to it and it's very confusing. Okay, so under the review Reels, all you want to do is, okay, here we are in the Instagram Reels section. I get a little distracted by the chat sometimes. So in the Instagram Reels one, what we want to do, right, is have captions. So captions is the main thing I want to make sure I have when I'm editing for Instagram Reels. So over here in the vertical, you have two options for getting to captions. You could go over to here and reveal text. And then you have the transcript, because under text, you have three options. So you have transcripts, captions, and any of the graphics that you may have in your sequence. So here is the transcript for this. I'm going to pull this down so we see a little bit more. And you want to hear in this stage, you want to make sure that the transcript is correct so that you can generate captions. So I'm just going to skim this and make sure everything looks good. And I think it does. But here, like I have this one set up so that there's a random period there. So I'm just going to double click, and then that makes it editable. And I'm going to remove that period and put that so. When I speak, I'm not speaking always like in the most grammatically correct way. I'm just speaking fast. So it makes sense that sometimes there's periods put into places, but we don't need them in this case. And there's this 0.3 seconds here. If you have this display pauses as ellipses, then you'll see this. And you can actually just select it with your mouse and press delete, and Premiere Pro will delete that part. So those last 0.3 seconds of pause will be deleted. And you might think, who really needs to delete that 0.3 pause? You need to delete it because you want people to watch this through really quickly. So you want to make sure that you actually keep them engaged. All right. So in the starter files, Pamela, they're empty because you need to include the footage in there. You need to drop your own footage and create that sequence, but you'll get the text styles, and you'll also get the sequence set up in the same exact way that I have it set up, the sequence settings. So that's the pro of using the starter files. Okay. Now, once we're in here, I assured myself that the transcript is spelled correctly. Then you just want to press captions, go over to the captions and say create captions from transcript. Again, if you downloaded the project folder, you'll get Lime Helvetica. And then another thing that you want to do here, I really recommend when we're talking about vertical video for social media, which is essentially the only place you use it, we want to minimize the maximum length of characters. I was testing this and I kind of like it set at maximum length in characters at 14, and the minimum duration, I kind of bring it all the way down because that's 1.2 seconds. And then I want the lines to be single. So using that Lime Helvetica style. So then you hit create captions. And really quickly, Adobe creates those captions for you. So let's play those through just for a second. The Logitech MX Master 3S mouse is going to change your workflow forever. You're probably using keyboard shortcuts, and those work totally fine, but being able to do everything in just the palm of your hand is so much more effective and powerful. So I really like the quick captions because I feel like that makes it a lot more engaging. And as you guys know, Instagram, you can add captions directly in the app, but it's kind of clunky. So I prefer to add my captions here, and people on Instagram seem to take well to that. So it's not like weird. It's very normal to have captions kind of burned into the video. Now, one thing that we can do is head over to the captions and graphics workspace. And in this workspace, here's what I wanted to show you. You have the style already put in, but I actually want to increase this to 100. And now those are a lot bigger, but that only impacted that first one. Well, if you actually tell it, I created a new style. I'm going to create a new style again just to run you through it. So I'm going to say create style. I'm going to say Lime Helvetica 100.v2 because I'm creating it again. I hit OK. And then I'm going to say apply to push to all captions on the track. The Logitech MX Master 3. Now all the captions have that new size. And that is going to really, like, when you're scrolling through Instagram, be super legible, because we're talking about the preview on Instagram is smaller, which is why I have the captions placed up high. They're not down here. If you put your captions down here on that Instagram feed preview, they'll just get cut off. So you want to have them higher. And obviously in the Instagram Reels feed, it's different, but you want to, prepare for all cases. And this kind of solves for that. So that's definitely something you want to make sure you do. Okay, so this is pretty good for Reels. And for Reels, I don't include music. So that's a pro tip here. You don't really want to use stock music or anything like that in Instagram Reels. I encourage you to export without music and then add the music that's trending on Instagram. And Instagram does a really good job of telling you what's trending and what's trending that kind of makes sense for the kind of videos that you do. So I would just pick a trending one. And that means usually if I go over here to Instagram, I'm going to go to my feed just to show you. If you head over to Reels, let's see, hopefully one of them has it. There will be a little plus, a little, it's like a rising arrow icon right next to the song. Again, none of these are trending because they're like from last week, but you'll see a little rising arrow and that's how you know the song is trending. So in order to export this, I go to File, Export, Media. You could also hit export here. It's just a habit at this point. And I want to edit the location. I've already exported it, but I'm going to just show you what it would be like, V2. And then that's, if you hit location, you can edit the location. And then the format, you want it to be the H.264. And the video, you want it to be 1080 by 1920. Again, I've set up the sequences so they're already 1080 by 1920. So automatically this works. But if you edit in 4K, you then need to make sure here that you're editing at 1080 by 1920. Because if you export at 4K and then upload to any social media platform, it's going to compress it and it's not going to look as good as it could look, right? It's not going to look the way you edited it. So that's something to keep in mind. And I always leave the audio on, and basically everything after that, I just don't touch it. And then for the range, it's source in and out. And then I just hit export and it exports it. Another alternative is to send it to Media Encoder's queue, which I already have opened. And if you send it to Media Encoder, you will get this queue of exports, and you can keep adding to your queue and then export all at once. So those are just two ways to export from Premiere Pro. Okay, so this is my Reels option. I'm always saving every single time. Now I'm going to go over, but before I go over to export for TikTok, let's just see who's in the chat here. And a little reminder, my name is Fabiola Lara. I'm an illustrator and content creator, and I'm sharing with you how I export for 3 different social media platforms using Adobe Premiere Pro. All right, so Umacorn, welcome back. Valder, thanks so much for being here. Annika, of course. We've got also Robert. Thanks for being here, everyone. If you have any questions about how I'm exporting for Reels, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to get to them. But let's keep on going here. Okay, so now I'm back to my main edit, right? So this was the Reels version. Now I'm back to my main edit. There are no captions here. Now I'm going to show you how to edit for TikTok next. So for TikTok, you don't want captions, right? Because I really believe that the captions in TikTok, not only is TikTok like getting context about your video from the captions, but people are used to having the TikTok style captions. So if you don't have TikTok captions, it's going to feel like it's not original content that you made in TikTok. And we're kind of always trying to blur that line. So from the main edit, I wouldn't actually add the captions. I wouldn't add the captions. But what I would do maybe is add, again, I have the best mouse for digital artists and content creators, but maybe I'm going to add a little bit more text on that first 3 seconds, because I do think that people really like context on TikTok. And people are so fast to scroll past it, right? So another thing that I'm just going to do, I don't know if you saw that, but here is the best, I'm going to mute here just in case. The best mouse for digital artists and creators. I'm just going to take this, I'm going to press Option and pull it down underneath. Now I have another version of that. I'm going to take this version and just bring it down if I can. Okay, I think I brought down the wrong version, but you get what I mean because it was underneath. So bring one of those down, and then I'm going to just edit this. So instead of saying the best mouse for digital, I don't want it to say it twice. I'm going to add a little bit more context about myself. So I'm going to say, as recommended by a full-time illustrator and creator. Something like that. Something so that people are like, why do I care about this? So here's what I'm doing. And then once I'm done doing this, I'm going to maybe pull it up. I like to, again, keep it like everything within, I kind of pretend that there's like
if I pull up my guides, there's like these boundaries and I want to make sure I'm clearing them. I am kind of on the edges here, so I could move this in and then recenter it. That kind of works nicely. Maybe I'll just move. I'm a little particular about how I want this to show up. So maybe something like that. That looks nice and even. So let's see. I'm gonna remove the guides because I don't want them to be obstructing what we're doing here. Okay, so I like that. I feel like this way people know why I'm giving this recommendation, and I've added more context. Now, another thing that you can do here, if you want to keep this, like let's say I always want to use these kinds of titles and subtitles type of thing for every single TikTok that I export, I can just hit right click. And from here, I can hit export as a motion graphics template. So I'm gonna actually do it for this one right here, this one. Right click, export as motion graphics template. And I'm gonna name it TikTok subtitle. Maybe like, yeah, subtitles, because not captions. There's my subtitles for my video. And I'm gonna say, put that in the local templates folder and include a video thumbnail. So I'm gonna say, okay. And I'm gonna actually put a keyword here for TikTok. That way, as I build out my library, every time I search TikTok, those ones will come up. I'm gonna hit okay. So Premiere exported that. And now if I actually go over here to browse and type in TikTok subtitles, even better, here it is. And I could like star it so that it's easier to find. And now every time that I'm editing across Premiere Pro, across projects, I can find this subtitle and use it. And every time, and then I just click it and it's completely editable each time. I know it seems simple, or maybe you're like, why it's easy to rebuild every single time. But at the same time, this way it's standardized. And that way your TikToks start having like their own branding so that every single time people are like, oh, immediately this is your video and this is the kind of video this person does. So that's a pro tip for those mogurts. I really recommend setting them up for yourself, even for things as simple as TikToks. Okay. And again, for this one, I eliminated the music, so there's no music, because again, I'm going to add that in the app, and I'm going to also add captions in the app. So all of that, there's no captions here. So what you want to do to export, once again, is go File, Export Media. That's just my habit. You could also just hit Export. Then in the folder, I'm going to say TikTok. Again, I've done it already, so I'm going to say TikTok v2. Save. That sets the location. Make sure it's 8.264. The video and the audio settings, make sure the video settings, that's the most important, are 1080 by 1920. If you do not export that, it will either shrink it to that or just look really bad. So don't do that, okay? And then hit export. Once again, I'm going to say send to media encoder. And now it's sending it to media encoder once again. Oh no, I had closed it. Well, here's the previous one and now this one. Okay, wonderful. Now you can see I made one of those crucial mistakes that I told you not to do, which was edit in the main edit. I didn't duplicate it. So what I'm going to do now is duplicate that, call it to_review. Some of you probably caught that while I was working. So now that's the original, and I'm going to go back to main edit and make it back to normal. Okay. Now, once again, I'm going to duplicate the main edit for the last one that I want to show you how to do here, which is YouTube. So I'm going to say review_YouTube. And I'm going to pull that one up. Okay. So for YouTube, you do want captions, right? So we're going to go real quick. I'm going to just repeat what I did here. Go to text. We already know these captions are fine. And actually, maybe they're not. Yes, right here. So you want to delete this. And maybe for YouTube, let's pretend here, because this is something that can also differentiate per edit. Maybe for this one, you actually want it to be even shorter. So let's say, here, plus this ergonomic design really keeps my hand from cramping up after those long edits. Or as a bonus, this mouse connects up to 3 devices via Bluetooth. I'm actually going to go ahead and select all of this, thanks to text-based editing, and just delete it. And now it's an even shorter edit for YouTube. So let's play this through real quick.
selection and eraser tool. Plus, the ergonomic design really keeps my hand from cramping up after those long edits. Trust me, this mouse is gonna completely change your workflow and make you so much more productive.
So I just cut that part out. It shaved probably 2 seconds, but sometimes like for different platforms, you want to keep it shorter. For example, for Instagram, I would ideally like to keep it under 30 seconds. For TikTok, ideally, I try to shoot around a minute, maybe even more. And then for YouTube, I would say, yeah, you want to be under 30 seconds. Again, this isn't what I have here, but if we wanted to, we could just delete this whole part again. We're just deleting huge cuts here. So this is why you always want to duplicate that main edit, because you want to keep that main edit intact, but have these other options for different platforms. Let's see if that makes any sense.
Between the selection and eraser tool. Trust me, this mouse is going to completely change your workflow and make you so much more productive.
So that's already way shorter. We've cut like 10 seconds out, I think, from let's look at the real edit. Yeah, that's 46, and this one's 38. So 8 seconds. I bet we could cut a little bit more if we wanted to. Every single button is customizable per individual program, including every single Adobe program. So you can customize each button to work for you and really fine tune your process. I'm going to delete that. Text-based editing just makes it so easy.
Every single Adobe program. I have this one set up so that horizontal scroll.
Let me see that.
I have this one set.
So here it sounds fine, but I'm going to just tweak it.
I'm
just going to tweak it right here. I'm going to hover over that and apply the default transition just so that the sound doesn't make such a click. That's not working so well. Let's see. Maybe it's deleting this, extending this one. Oops. And extending that. Let's try this. So here's where you need to like really kind of sometimes finesse it, even though text-based editing does a bulk of the work for you. You can apply these default transitions to the audio. I really like to use constant power. All you do is right click when you're hovering and it usually clears it up. That sounds a lot better.
I have this one set.
Or maybe right here, apply default transition. So you just kind of play with that. Usually the shorter that I make it, the easier it kind of like blends in. Okay, so I'm not gonna keep doing that because it is a bit disorienting. Okay, but that's how you like to fine tune it. But now I've cut it down to 34 seconds. Okay, and we're gonna add the closed caption. So I'm gonna hit create captions, caption preferences, style. We have that Lime Helvetica 100-point V2 that we already made. And I remember we had the maximum length at 14, the minimum duration all the way down, and then the lines to single. So I'm gonna hit create captions. And there we have it.
The Logitech MX Master 3S.
And there's one more thing I think is really important when we're talking about YouTube Shorts cuts is the audio. So I use the stock footage over from Epidemic Sound. So I have it here and I'm going to actually hit the workspaces and I'm going to go over to Essential and Essential Sound. Now with this selected, with the audio selected, I'm going to make sure it's selected and then hit Music. Preset background music, and I'm going to edit the duration by clicking this duration because this, as you can see, this sound is just way too long. It's like 2 minutes and something. So I'm going to hit duration and I'm going to hit remix and I'm going to set the target duration to about 40 seconds, which is what we need. 40 seconds is like enough to cover the whole sequence with a bit to spare. So I'm going to hit that and very quickly it remixed it so that it's a lot shorter and fits that exact tempo and the time that we need. So let me play this through real quick.
The Logitech MX Master 3S mouse is going
to everywhere that you see these little forward arrows, that's where the AI cut it and remixed it.
Change your workflow forever. You're probably using keyboard shortcuts and those work totally fine, but being able to do everything in just the palm of your hand is so much more effective and powerful. Every single button on the Logitech mouse is customizable per individual.
So that's what it sounds like. It sounds totally natural. And then to export it, again, I go to File, Export Media, I rename it. I'm going to rename it TikTok V2. Again, double check that it's 1080 by 1920, and then you just hit export. In this case, I'm going to hit send to media encoder. And now I have all of those 3 different versions for exporting. This one, I didn't rename it here, but I did rename it there. So that's where that naming confusion comes from. And if you hit this green arrow, it'll automatically start exporting all 3 of those. That way you can continue working in Premiere Pro. So that's kind of the benefit of using Adobe Media Encoder. But let me just show you here. I have these already exported just for our convenience. So check it out. This one is the one for Reels.
The Logitech MX Master 3S mouse is going
You can see this one
to change your workflow.
has a title, captions, but no music.
The Logitech MX Master 3S mouse is going to change your workflow forever. You're probably
This one has for TikTok, it has the opening titles, let me call them, but no captions and no music. And then for YouTube, the same video, I have the title, captions, and stock music that I got from Epidemic Sound. So those are the 3 versions that I usually export per video so that each video feels native to each single platform. And I add the music for the ones that don't have music right in the app, and I add the captions right in the app. And that really helps it feel like I still created it within the platform, but it's a lot higher quality editing, and it's a lot easier for me to export 3 of the same versions than trying to use another platform and kind of creating it every single time within each app. It's just kind of redundant and really like bulky. So I really recommend using Premiere Pro for this, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you create these videos, please tag me. I'm on Instagram and YouTube and everywhere at Fabiolita Draws. You can find me there. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I can't wait to see you for another video social media challenge. Bye.